Hello everyone, and thanks for tuning back into my channel. And today we're going to install this aftermarket front-facing dash cam onto a 2012 Peugeot 308. So this is the T7 series 5-door hatch model. This particular car has a rain sensing wiper, and the dash cam unit replaces the rear view mirror housing. So you'll notice there's a small bulge to accommodate the extra component. But I still think this is a discreet looking dash cam compared to the others out there. So in this video, I'll show you how to remove the existing rear view mirror housing, replace it with this new dash cam unit, wire it up, and show you a few sample footages. If you're new to the channel or have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button below this video. It only takes you a couple of seconds, but it'll help me greatly to grow this channel. This housing here separates into two parts. There are clips, 4 clips in total that connects these two parts together. There is a clip over here. That's another clip, second clip. There's a clip just under there, and there's a clip on top. Now hopefully this is the same number of clips available in the OEM housing. Looking at the profile, this side of the dash cam has 2 control buttons, one for power and another one to command the dash cam to take a photo. Then on the other side, you have a micro SD memory card slot. So another thing that you'll find in the box, apart from the basic instruction manual, is this wiring harness. This end here plugs directly into the dash cam. This one goes into the camera input of your head unit if you do have one, and some wires to power up the device. And so I'm going to install this now on my 2012 Peugeot 308. It's already installed with an Android head unit, so all I need to do is get that hooked up and away we go. Okay, I'm inside the car now, and for the past 30 minutes I've been trying to figure out how to remove this rear view mirror housing without destroying it. There are several clips located right in the middle here that holds these two plastic trims together, and I've broken most of them already. Now in my case, I don't mind breaking this housing because I'm never gonna use it again, but I'm thinking that if I need to remove this dash cam again in the future, I want to figure out a non-destructive way to remove it using this old housing. Unfortunately for me, the way things are going, I think I'm losing in that department. The most difficult part to unclip is this top section right here. You can now see that most of the bottom clips are broken. I can easily pry this other side, but this top section is still attached, and you can see I've scratched up the plastic pretty bad. And notice how the left hand side is able to separate more, but the right hand side stays in place. If you look at the replacement, there is some sort of a clip mechanism here and there. That's what's keeping this right hand side from separating completely. So I'm now on the passenger side, basically just to give me a better view of what's inside, but I actually found a clip that holds the right hand side trim from separating. I just positioned the camera so you can hopefully see that. Basically it's this clip here. You need to release it this way, so I'm just gonna use a flathead screwdriver and then reach in and basically lift that up, and now you have it released. So now you can see the plastic trim is moving freely a bit now. That piece is still stuck. I'll have another attempt, but essentially that's oh, that came off. As I was wiggling it, it actually just came off. So there, it actually came off, and some of the clips broke into pieces. Essentially earlier there, this is what I was trying to lift out, this clip here. This is the one that holds the other piece in place. Once I managed to get that out, I was able to pry the whole thing out. If you look at side-by-side view of the two plastic trim covers. They look pretty much very identical from a component point of view. Got these two clips. This is the OEM one. There's a clamp on the top side, which is this, so that's okay, but there's nothing on further down or further up, depending on the orientation. So that's the inside view. Again, the clamps, the clips seem to be identical as well. This is what I got from the internet. I didn't get this specific model for 308. Apparently the 308 and the 3008 share the same plastic housing. The only difference is that the 3008 has a longer stem, because obviously the roof is longer. So what I need to do is trim this piece a bit so it matches that length. So I'm just gonna go ahead and trim that off camera. So I've taped up this stem for the time being. So just line it up together like this, and then just put a tape of where you need to make the cut, and I'll leave it like that, and that's where I'm gonna make the cut. So after about 10 minutes of sewing off camera, I managed to trim that stem off the size, so hopefully that'll fit just fine, and this is now ready for installation. But before I jump straight into that, I'm gonna install the app first. According to the user manual, there are two apps that you can download for use with this Dashcam. One is called Roadcam and the other one is called Timacam. When I searched them up in Google Play Store, both of them received very low reviews. Here you can see Roadcam's information page in Play Store, and if I scroll down, you can see it just received 1.4 star rating and downloaded over 50,000 times. Now if I search for Timacam, you can see here it didn't fare any better. It received 1.3 star review rating. However, this one's been downloaded more, twice as more than Roadcam, so I'll go with this one. What has happened while I was offline is that I've decided to use the head unit to power the Dashcam instead of using the fuse box suggested by the supplier, which meant I had to open up the head unit so I can study the pinout of the connector and confirm it'll work. Once I've done those, I've disconnected the wiring harness from the head unit so I can begin the next step in the process, which is to connect the Dashcam wiring harness with the head unit wiring harness. And that's what you see now on my workbench. I've laid out all the tools I need. Of course, we need the crimper and long nose pliers. We need our JST connector, a bunch of heat shrink tubing, a multi-tester, electrical tape, and we've got these two wiring harnesses that we need to connect. So basically, these black, red, and yellow wires, we will connect to the black, red, and yellow wires coming out of the wiring harness. So yeah, let's get started. So the first thing I did was to cut off the connectors on the Dashcam wiring harness because I'm not going to use this. Instead, I'm going to use a JST connector to connect this to the head unit wiring harness. Okay, so this is how I'm going to connect this. The male end of the connector will stay on the wiring harness for the Dashcam. The female end of the JST connector, I'll hook it up onto the stereo wiring harness so that I can connect it after I route the Dashcam wiring harness through the dash. I'll fast forward the video from here, but essentially what I'll be doing is modifying these wiring harnesses so that they now share the same power source. Okay, so that's first half of the job done. We can set that aside. Okay, so we're on the tricky bit of the installation process. We're gonna create a tap on these 3 wires, yellow, black, and red. I've got a corresponding loose wire, yellow, sort of black, white and black stripes, and red wire. And the idea is to tap into these corresponding colored wires and connect these JST connectors on the other end so that we can connect it to the wiring harness for the dash cam. We're gonna have to, I guess, solder this end so it doesn't come loose and hook it all up. Hopefully I'll be finished within the next hour or so. I'll fast forward the video from here again, where this time I'll be creating a wire tap on the head unit wiring harness so we can connect it to the dash cam. Next, we need to attach the female terminals to the JST connector. To make sure that they're aligned to its corresponding colored wires on the other side, connect the male and the female connectors first, then take note of the sequence. In this case, it's yellow, black, and red. Then, based on that sequence, just attach the terminals on the other side. Okay, so now I'm back in the car after I've installed these connectors in the workshop. I've just connected the other end of this wiring harness back into the head unit, and now I'm just gonna test if the wiring works. Next, connect the wiring harness, make sure it's snug, and then just clamp. And I'm just gonna connect everything as well, including the reverse camera, so make sure everything is working as expected. I know that's the reverse camera input. Now the moment of truth. This is the dash cam. I'm just gonna leave it there so you can see the indicator lights will turn on. Just make sure it's the right orientation. Connect the male and the female connectors, and then let's put that aside first. Now the next bit would be this is the front camera video input. So since this is the first time, I might need to power on. I see a flash. That's looking good. You can see there's the LED status there working. So I am going to check if there's any video signal. Make sure everything works before I close it up. Okay, head unit's turned on. And I've already pre-installed the app earlier. So let's start the app that I've just downloaded. I think it's this one that's more reliable, I think. You need to connect it through the Wi-Fi. So let's do that. It's connected, and then you say connect device. And there you have it. We have connectivity, and that's the camera there. Fairly decent. I'm not sure how wide that angle is, but at least it's recording. So keys out, but dash cam still working. Okay, we're back. We can now attach the rear view mirror housing with the dash cam back into the car. What I did earlier was to cut this off the size, and also added a sticky tape there, or a masking tape, just to hold it in place as we slide this in. So you need to get the wire routed there to hide it, and then just be mindful of that cable there. We'll make sure that it's not pinched or anything, but just find a way to number one, insert that piece up the top. So you might need to wiggle the rear view mirror where it's angled, and then also this wire, make sure it's tucked in, and just push it in. See how that puts that's pushed in, and then this wire, make sure it's not snagged, it's not pinched or anything, so that's good. So make sure just on this side, on the other side there's a clamp there. Just make sure that it's not moving up and down, that it's sort of locked in place. And then just do a final check, because you don't want to be opening this up. You know how difficult it is to remove these clips, and I don't want to be breaking it. So once I have it connected, I don't want to have to remove it. So it looks like this half of the housing is all good. The other half to lock it in place. Again, I think clamp there. I think that will clamp here. This part here, I guess that part will clamp here. Just make sure it's, oh sorry, this part here will clamp somewhere here and here, these two clips, and then that. So just make sure that all those clamps are aligned, and then hope for the best. Again, I think this one should line up there, should find it in place. Just make sure it's all locked in place, and then here we go. Okay. There you go. It seems secure enough. That's good. So let's connect the wire that we need to route, and then just tuck it in underneath. It's a bit thick here. Somewhere here, just pry that a bit. There it is. And then just continue on. Just tuck that in. Okay, now that the wire is just above the A-pillar, what we need to do next is to remove this A-pillar cover so we can hide the wire underneath. And I think, I'm not sure whether I'm gonna loosen that up to release that clip. I think, and then they're just held in place by clips, and you just need to start from the top and just release that clip gently, working your way down, and then just remove that A-pillar. So as you can see here, there's a clip there, a couple of more clips here, and another one, that one. As you can see here, that's sort of clip, probably a locking mechanism, so probably best to push that out to sort of make that a bit more flexible. Set that aside, and then just gently tuck it in. Now this is airbag territory, so I'm not sure whether this is the right way to do it. That doesn't affect the performance of the airbag. So I've got the microphone wire routed here, but I might just put this on that side. This is, not sure what that cables are for, but I'll route it this way so it doesn't cross this. Now, as I've said, I'm not sure whether this is the right way. It seems logical for this wire to go through here. Just continue going down. So this is the way I chose to do this. You might have a different idea, and you know, it'd be good to know what do you guys think, if this is the right way to route this wire through. Make sure it's under the clip. And just make sure it's hidden. Oof. Careful when you lift the headliner. Cool. Okay. I route the cable underneath that so it doesn't cross that wire. Okay, we're back. We've routed all the way up to the bottom of the A-pillar. Next is to remove this panel. There's a sort of a plastic screw here. Just make sure it's vertical, and all you need to do is just pull that out, set that aside. Also this panel here, this one just pulls straight out. There it is. 7 clips in total, so this one has a strong bite, one of these 3 clips. And then lastly, just this cover at the end of the dashboard, again just clips, and just pull straight out. So now we can route this wire behind, tuck it in, and then find a way to put that wire all the way behind and then just hold that up. Better. Just be careful, don't break anything. Let's pull that up, and then I'm just gonna tape it up there. But as you can see, I've routed several wires here already. That's for the reverse cam, so everything is underneath the driver's side footwell. Okay, so now that we're here, all we need to do is now we are back here in the center console, and all we need to do is hook this up to the wires, and then we'll close it up. So just showing you the path of the wire from the top of the A-pillar down here. Made sure I tucked it underneath this big wire here, and then proceeded down here. I had to remove these plastic panels, and then it's routed down here. Had that one behind this metal bit here, and then through, and then inside the cavity there. So I'm gonna close this up, and I'm gonna hook up the head unit back in place. Okay, so just reattaching the A-pillar. So start from the bottom, and then just pry this plastic weather shield. There's a clip that you need to align at the bottom, so make sure, just push it in until it doesn't go anywhere, and that should align. The clip should align, and then just push from here, and then just to give that a good press. Make sure it's all secure, and then lock that tab in place, and that's it. Then carefully put all these panels back. Make sure it's in the right orientation. Starting with this cover here, because this is the last cover we removed, so the first one to go in. Then we'll put this back first. Make sure that screw is again vertical, so just vertical, and then just line it up, and then locks in place. Get a plastic pry tool. Now horizontal. And the last bit, this is the tough one, starting from the bottom, and then push from the top. So we now connect this custom connector that we created, power up the dash cam, and then the video input, which for now it doesn't work, but we'll reach out to the vendor and provide us an explanation why there's no video signal coming out of this video in output, but I'll hook it up regardless. So at this point in the installation, it's now all about good cable management. I normally use a wiring mesh cover and zip ties to keep it tidy. If you have a foam cover handy, that will also help. But it's actually not just about making it look tidy, it will also minimize any rattling inside the dashboard. For example, if there's a loose wire or a connector right next to a plastic trim, a slight vibration in the car while you're traveling would cause them to hit against each other and cause a rattling sound. Very annoying to some. So you can see that's lighting up, so make sure you check that it's all operational before you close up. So managed to fit everything in the wire, all the wires in the cavity there. So like I said, the quad lock is here. The canvas decoder is way down there, but it's really difficult because there's really not much room because of this center pillar here. The center plastic runs all the way to the top, so but managed to just fit it in, and about to clip it in place. So just a final thing there, just lock. Hopefully that locks in place. Okay, so it's time to put the aircon control back. So line it up like that, push it in, and then pull the lever up. So now it's connected. Slide it up like that. Make sure that's inside this clamp, and just slide it up. Make sure that clamp there and everything locks in place. And then T20 torques 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nice and secure. We're in the final stages of the installation. Here I'm just reattaching the plastic trim around the aircon control, so we just need to slip it in, make sure it's aligned. And then this is the bit where it's sort of difficult to film, but two T20s, again, one there, another one there. So I'm just gonna go right ahead and screw that on, and finally reattach the ashtray, put back this rubber mat, and we're done. I drove around my neighborhood after installing the dashcam, and so far I'm very pleased with the video quality and operation of the dashcam. I drove around the same road during different times of the day so I can compare them side by side. The video files produced by the dashcam are in MP4 file format, so there shouldn't be any issues being able to play them back on any computer. When I check the video resolution, it comes out as 1080p, so that's 1920 by 1080 resolution at 30 frames per second. I've extracted these video files by just ejecting the micro SD from the dashcam and attaching it directly to the computer, so it's very simple. Here, the two videos you're seeing right now are taken at different times but follow the same road, so you can compare them side by side in different lighting conditions. You'll notice the vents near the windscreen is visible, but you'll notice in broad daylight the reflection isn't there. It's hard to get a reading of the oncoming car's registration number in low light condition, but I guess in broad daylight it's very easy. You just pause the video and you should be able to grab the registration number if you need to. So here's another view of the dashcam and what it looks like from the outside. In my opinion, it looks really discreet because it blends well in the cabin. It doesn't look like it was installed as an afterthought and that it was part of the built-in feature from the manufacturer. So I'm really pleased with the outcome of this project. And now I'm going to give this project a DIY-ability score. This is the part where I rate all the work I've done by judging it across 5 categories. Each category gets a score from 1 to 10, and the maximum score any of my DIY project can get is 50. Starting with affordability, the price range of front-facing dash cams I've seen online, not necessarily custom made for this car, is from $69 to $249. This particular one cost me about $89, which puts it in the cheap end of the spectrum. So from an affordability point of view, this project gets a 9 out of 10. Moving on to the quality category, the output video resolution of this dash cam is acceptable. We're not talking 4K video here, just HD. The camera performs well in low light conditions when driving at night. In terms of audio quality, obviously, if the audio source is inside the car, then the dash cam is able to record it very clearly. But when the audio source is outside the car, then as expected, it's a bit muffled. I don't think this is an issue since as a best practice, you don't want the dash cam to record any audio during accidents anyway, as it might affect the outcome of your insurance claim if you had a moment of road rage at the time of the accident. So actually, for this reason, I've turned off the audio recording in the dashcam settings. The other downside, apart from not recording in 4K, is the lack of a dedicated app to control the dashcam settings. Both apps are freeware, so you see ads popping up as you use them. So this project gets an 8 out of 10 for quality. The effort to outcome ratio of this project is really good. It was well worth my time. Hopefully dashcams will transition from being an aftermarket only accessory to being a standard feature fitted by manufacturers straight from the factory, similar to the transition GPS had back in the late 90s. Unfortunately, until that transition is complete, we will have to settle with aftermarket installs, but this dashcam unit is a very convincing proposition to DIYers like me. This project gets a satisfaction score of 10 out of 10. Moving to fit and finish, you've seen the dashcam unit and I'm sure you will agree when I say it blends perfectly well in the cabin. No one will suspect, not even your local mechanic, that the bulge in the rear view mirror housing is a dashcam. I'm very pleased how well it's made considering its price, so I'm giving this project a score of 10 out of 10. And finally, fun factor. To be honest, it wasn't fun hearing those clips break as I tried to remove the original rear view mirror housing. What was fun though was hearing the clips of the new dashcam click when I finally got it on, and finally seeing how perfectly it fits. This project gets an 8 out of 10 for fun factor. And that gives this DIY project a raw score of 45 out of 50, which puts it in equal second place on my DIY ability scoreboard, along with the recent work I did for the Mercedes C200, so make sure to check out that video as well. And that's everything I have for you in this video. Thanks for watching. If you find this video helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and finally consider subscribing to this channel and hit that notification icon so you don't miss any of my future updates. Until next time.